Okay guys, here we go for 5.2 for consumer math. It's called mortgage loans, okay? Now, I was telling you that yesterday, but I'm gonna go into it more specifically. What is a mortgage loan? A mortgage loan is a loan, a préstamo that you get for your house, okay? This is the biggest loan that you're ever gonna take out. Well, sometimes people take out an even bigger loan on education. Did you guys know that? Like if a doctor, if somebody that's going to be a doctor or something like that, a lot of times they have to take out huge préstamos and then be paying those back for years later. So that's why sometimes what people do is instead of taking out préstamos, they'll find like a hospital, like let's say that they find a hospital, especially if you're going to be a nurse or something. You find a hospital that says, we'll pay for like a portion of your schooling, your university, if you promise to work for us for 2 years after you graduate. Well, that's like a really good deal because it's either that or take out préstamos and you're still working to pay those off, okay? But anyway, back on track. So mortgage loans are loans that you take on for your house because like who in the world is gonna have all that efectivo or all that money in your bank or something like that to pay for a house? So you have to take out a loan. So let's read what it says. When you purchase a home, you will probably borrow part of the money from a lending agency, like a bank. Most buyers, there's also like cooperativos and stuff like that that you can borrow money from. Most of the time, you're gonna get it from a bank. Most buyers make a down payment. Okay, down payment. We talked about this before for a car, but a down payment, and this is important for a house, you guys. If you're gonna go buy a house, you need a big chunk of money, thousands of dollars, where you walk into the bank or you walk into the place that you're buying the house from and you say, look, I can give you this much money for the house first, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000. And then they're going to decide the loan amount based on the rest of the balance, okay? So the down payment is the money that you put down first. They say down payment like you put it down on the table. You give them the money first before they determine the loan amount, okay? So what it says, most buyers make a down payment of around 5 to 40% of the selling price. Okay, so like, let's say you're gonna buy a house for $150,000. The minimum down payment for that kind of house would be $7,500. You would need to save up before you even ask for a loan for the rest of the house. So most buyers make a down payment of around 5 to 40% of the selling price and finance the remainder through a mortgage loan. So, just like we talked about yesterday, what's the difference between renting and buying? Sometimes you have to rent because you don't have that money for the down payment. Now, when you do get the loan, it's called financing your house, okay? So finances is, talking about money, but it's also a verbo, it's a verb, to mean that you're taking out a loan for your house. You're financing your house. You're financing a car. So anytime you take out a loan for something, it's called financing it. So, look what it says. You will be required to sign a mortgage. A mortgage is an agreement which states that the lending agency will foreclose on the mortgage and claim the home if you do not make the agreed payments on the loan. So if you take out this loan and then all of a sudden you can't pay for it for a long time, they will foreclose on your house, okay? Foreclose on your house means that they're gonna take it from you, okay? They're gonna take it from you and then the bank owns it and the bank can sell it to get money back because they loaned you the money. So that is like their, anytime you take a risk in finances, you guys, a risk is, like a riesgo, right? There has to be something to back up the risk. So if a bank says, yeah, we'll loan you the money, but here's the thing, if you can't pay on the loan, we're taking your house. Because what is the bank gonna do with it? The bank is gonna sell the house and then get the money back from that loan, okay? So sometimes you're gonna see houses for sale that are foreclosures, it's called. And that's because they couldn't pay on the loan. So let's look at the next sentence. It says, the cost of the mortgage depends on 2 things. The cost of the mortgage depends on the down payment, 3 things, figure out. The down payment, the number of years needed, and the interest rate, okay? So 3 things for your mortgage loan. 1, how much money did you put down? Okay, because let's say that your house is worth, you're gonna buy a house for $150,000, but you put down $8,000 first, so you only now need a loan for $142,000, okay, only, right? Then number 2, how long the loan is going to be. A lot of times it's going to be either 15 or 30 years, and then number 3, what the interest rate is going to be. Okay, remember, every loan has interest. So it's not that you're going to really take out a loan for $142,000. Okay, let's say that you have an interest of 15% on your loan, which is a horrible interest, by the way. What's going to happen? You're not actually going to be paying $142,000 for that loan. You're going to be paying $163,000 for that loan if your interest was 15%. Okay, so you have to be aware of that when you go to get a loan for anything, for a house, for a car, or education, you always pay more for borrowing that money, which is why people say you should only borrow money if you absolutely need to on the biggest things, which is your house and your education and sometimes your car, okay? So, a car in an emergency, but if you can have the cash, it's better. So, let's look at the next part. Most mortgages are gradually repaid over a number of years, such as 15 or 30. Usually, equal monthly payments are made as in the installment plan. Each monthly payment pays off a small part of the principal, which is the amount borrowed, and plus the interest due on the unpaid balance, principal that is still owed. The first payments are almost totally interest. The later payments are almost totally principal. This is interesting. Guys, when you're paying your mortgage payment, vamos a decir que, let's say your mortgage payment is $700 a month, okay? 700, or let's do it this way. Okay, we did $142,000 loan, right? We said that was gonna be on a 15% interest. Okay, we're gonna divide that by 30 years. That means they're going to be paying $5,400 every year on that loan, and we'll divide that by 12 months. So you're paying $454 every month on that loan. Well, with that $454, the bank wants to make sure that the bank is going to get the interest on this loan. That even if you stop paying the loan or whatever, that they're going to get their interest, because the interest is the bank's profit, okay, the bank's profit. Look, when you come in and get a préstamo from a bank, they're going to give you the money to give to the person selling the house, right? They're going to give you the principal amount. That's the money that you needed. This is the $142,000, right? You needed that money to give to the people selling the house, and they gave it to you and gave it to the people selling the house. This right here is their ganancia. This is their profit, the interest. This is the money that the bank gets for giving you that loan, okay? So what's gonna happen when you're making mortgage payments is that the first half of your loan, you're paying off your interest. And then you're gonna be paying off your principal. So that they make sure that they get this interest. Because here's the thing. If you decide, okay, well, I'm gonna make a 30-year loan, but I'm gonna pay it back in 20 years. Well, it doesn't matter if you pay it back in 20 years because they're still going to get all their interest like you had it for 30 years. So the bank makes it to their advantage by paying off your interest first, then your principal, okay? A little bit of principal, a lot of interest at the very beginning of it. Because banks want their money, okay? So yeah, banks will give you a loan, but you're tied to that bank, okay? Which is why in the Bible it says be very careful with taking out loans for things. Okay. So, a sample mortgage rate table is given below. The rates are per unit $1,000 borrowed and the payments are made monthly. The rates do not include homeowners insurance, which is required by the lending agency. Okay, so look right here. This is something that a bank might use, okay? So what they would be saying is,